Hi, guys, and welcome to Real Food. Following the release of our edited Twin Peaks The Missing Pieces reaction, we thought it would be interesting to have a brief discussion on The Missing Pieces. For a little context, I watched Fire Walk with Me and The Missing Pieces right after that,
Yeah,
like many months ago now.
I think
Um,
I when we edited after you watched Firewalk and we edited that, I think it killed me, and that's when I got sick. And I was like, no missing pieces, can't do Firewalk. And ugh, yuck. So
but we did release The Missing Pieces as like an full unedited commentary, and then we just released it a
yes,
few days ago,
yes.
an edited version. I don't know if you want to start by talking about like your first impressions. Was it what you thought it would be? Did anything surprise you?
That is the first time I saw it. Was going through it. It's hard to say how I feel about it without really getting into. I guess my first impressions are. mm, I don't think. See, I'm gonna just reveal what I think about the whole thing. I don't know how much I gained from that.
Okay. Okay. I have a feeling we're going to both have a lot of hatred coming our way.
I think the big question is, do you need to? Is this like required
That's the
viewing?
last question,
Uh,
man. That's the last question. Okay.
I come in knowing nothing.
That's okay. I will say, like, and I guess I don't really have much to offer on that point either, because I pretty much said it in the reaction. But like, first of all, you can tell, unfortunately, from the reaction, because I watched it so close after Fire Walk with Me, which is the point, I know, but I was so traumatized by Fire Walk with Me that definitely
Yeah.
colored my viewing experience. So do I think my opinion could change upon a rewatch of Fire Walk with Me, and maybe with like a little bit more time, and maybe upon a rewatch of all these things? Yes, probably. I'm just still too traumatized to rewatch it now, but you know, eventually. What I was particularly surprised by was just how well it flowed. I think, like,
Mm.
for something that wasn't designed to be its own thing, it actually had a really, like, there was a narrative there that flowed really well. And given that that wasn't set up that way initially, I was pleasantly surprised by that.
Right. I wonder if it's Fire Walk with Me that primes you for that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, I guess too. If you've never seen Fire Walk with Me, or you don't know the story, it probably would seem more like a random assortment of scenes.
Right. I don't know if it functions on its own though.
Completely, like, if you don't know anything about Fire Walk with Me, could you watch this?
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree. I'm just saying, like, knowing Fire Walk with Me, this does, I think, exist
Right.
well enough as its own movie.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I can agree with most of that.
Tough crowd. Do you have a favorite scene or moment? Or
Um,
moments, I guess we
I
could
would
say
say
too.
it was kind of it was nicer or to see the Palmer family not in any kind of really traumatizing scene. I feel like most of
Yes.
the Fire Walk with Me scenes, he's like trying to get her to clean under her fingernails or
Yes.
something. It was like even the scene where they're practicing for the Norwegians, or like there's just a lot more of them more like hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought what was interesting was they made her feel more like a teenager in this one, in the missing pieces and the stuff that was cut from Firewalk with Me. There's a lot of like lying to your mom. I've got to do this. I've got to get the keys to the car to go see Bobby. I've got to climb out and I've got to watch for my dad to come before I go to see James. Like there was more thought into like, oh, she's a teenager. She's going to have to figure these things out. She can't just come and go. I think a lot of that is removed for Firewalk with Me,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was interesting. Yeah, I guess it would have been. I all the stuff with Sarah Palmer, I think was.
There was a lot more of her, it felt like,
Yeah,
in this, which is
yeah,
nice, because yeah, Grace Zabriskie is awesome.
yeah. That stuff I thought was the stuff that I like seeing the most.
I agree. I think if I have to pick one scene, I would pick obviously the scene when they're at the dinner table learning to say whatever in Norwegian.
Right.
But even that, it's like, yeah, it's like a moment of levity, but there's still this like dark undertone because he's so like manic about it.
Everyone is kind of manic.
That's
and
what I
everyone,
mean, though.
the
So
way
it's like,
it's almost like they're like afraid to laugh, but also they want to keep the laugh going because
it's
they never laugh together or something.
it just still has a feeling of like, this is out of control.
I also, maybe it's because right over top of them there's the axe.
Yeah, like so I
Sorry
love that
for-
scene. It is fun to see them in this kind of more like joyful moment, but there's still this undercurrent of like, oh, this is things are not well.
Right, that's true.
Also, it of course it was nice to see all of the people that we are familiar with from Twin Peaks, this series that we didn't get to see in Fire Walk with Me. Like
Yeah.
just little snippets. Like I got a name drop in particular, Norma and Big Ed, and it was very nice to see them have a little scene together. So that I also liked about the missing pieces, because I think for good reason those things were chopped from Fire Walk with Me. But
Yeah, it's nice to see them at the same time. There's no story there.
I know that's
at
what I
all.
mean. That's what I mean.
And
Like
it just sort of feels like, I don't know, like I wish they were like more woven into the
Yeah.
story of Laura Palmer more.
Yeah.
You know, and like I guess it's because that pilot tells you that she touches the lives of everyone, and it would have been nicer to see like her actually be in the lives of these other characters instead of like, why didn't we see her with Josie or anything?
Mhm.
Or, you know, like they're all so separated. I would have cared more about those scenes if they were just like more impactful to the story or to the characters, but they
Mhm.
just felt so isolated
Mhm.
that, and like inconsequential, like who cares?
Yeah. I'm sure that's why it makes sense to me that they were cut. But yeah, it's still nice to see
It is nice to see.
Lucy
It
and
is.
Andy.
It is, and it felt like more like, you know, the return, like how he's
Like
learning.
random little kind of like snippets of character.
Yeah, you
moments.
just see
Yeah.
moments,
Yeah.
and you know,
Least favorite moment or scene.
least favorite moment or scene. Do you have one right now?
Yeah, I do.
In the edits. Oh, I do. Okay, this might be controversial. My least favorite one is the Coop and Diane scene. I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
one's just.
I don't know
It-
why you hate this so much.
It doesn't work. You can feel like it not working completely, and I don't know.
What doesn't work about it?
Just the fact that she's not saying anything, I get it, but it feels a real like Home Improvement Wilson type of thing. Like, actually, he talked, or like I guess Maris from Frasier, where they're just referring to a character who just off screen, doesn't talk or anything. It just didn't feel like they got the timing right, or just like the way it was. I don't know. It didn't feel good to me. I didn't think it was very good. It felt amateurish, and I'm glad it's gone. Quite frankly,
From the movie.
From the movie.
Okay. I hated the fighting scene. I don't
Oh.
even know who it was, like the police officer from wherever fighting
the sheriff
Chet Desmond
from,
or whatever.
Yeah,
and I was just
yeah.
like, this is going on for so long.
Yeah, that to me felt like it's like, what are you telling a story within here? It was kind of like how long it felt for Freddy to punch the bob ball in the part 18. It's like, this is
Yeah, but again,
really
at least that had
going,
something
huh?
to do with like the narrative. This was just like, why do I care about these two people?
I guess he's an obstacle in the way of
Yes.
something.
Okay.
There's something about the way these FBI agents fight, though. They seem to be like really badass fighters. Just like
Do they?
well, Dale Cooper and Chet Desmond, they just seem to be
Yeah,
able
so
to
you're
like.
in the FBI, yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. They just seem like maybe because Chet Desmond's part of the Blue Rose Task Force, he's a little bit more like Dale Cooper in the fact that he's got like
Special
intuition.
skills. You got a special
I
skill
don't know,
set.
but Albert doesn't have any. But maybe you need an Albert to like.
Also, did maybe Albert never got challenged in that way, and you don't know what Albert.
But
can
maybe,
do.
but Albert seems like he's like the one guy who's got his like feet on the ground. You know what I mean? Around all of these other like crazies,
That's fair.
like Gordon Cole and Philip Jeffries.
Did you think there was a scariest moment?
Out of the new stuff.
Yeah.
You know, there's times where Leland felt like a Terminator or something. He's like just like coming up to him and just like senses. He stops and senses her.
That's
and
exactly
stuff
what
like
I'm. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. This is the moment when she's like she's crawled out of the window. I
Yeah.
think, and I think she's like hiding in the bushes. That is straight out of a nightmare where you're like hiding and the person you're hiding from just like looks at you,
Yeah,
knows exactly where you are. Oh God, I thought that was so scary. I don't think I'm sure you see her in Fire Walk with Me sneak out of the window, and you see him come home. But I don't think they have that exchange.
Is he just in the window looking at her as she leaves?
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, you must. There's an element of that, but I don't think it's. I don't because I don't. Is there a single repeat scene? I think there was something.
There's some repeated scene. The Philip Jeffries scene is repeated along with like the meeting above the convenience store.
Okay.
There's like elements that are like cut together,
Okay.
and you just get snippets of it, which I like the way it works. The Philip Jeffries scene, the way it works in Fire Walk with Me more. I know it felt like
Is it more vague?
it is more vague, and it like it's like staticky. There's like static that cuts in between it. It feels like you're more like a confused dream.
So that kind of brings me to my next point, because I think that's related to, so people say you need to watch this before you watch The Return in order to like fully understand The Return. And I think a lot of that is related to this whole like Philip Jeffries Judy thing, right?
But that stuff's in Firewalk with Me.
It is?
Yeah.
But it's just like more fully expanded on in The Missing Pieces. Why do people say that? Maybe I thought it was related to this whole Judy and Philip Jeffries thing.
I mean, he does mention in Firewalk with Me. You just get a little more, I guess. If you're just like, I feel like it's only like, what was the question?
Do you feel like you need to watch The Missing Pieces in order to get everything in The Return?
I think that if you are a Twin Peaks super fan, or if you just like you like living in this world and you need more, then yeah, it's perfect. I don't know. Is there more to chew on? Possibly a bit, but I wouldn't say like you need it I think you need to watch Firewalk with Me before you watch The Return.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that you need to watch this. There's a lot of it that's like no one needs to see.
So that's I guess kind of leads me to my last question.
Or no, I shouldn't say that. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that.
Boo!
Boo, yeah. Boo, yes, I'm a bad person. I don't know. Like there's stuff that's like, do we really need to see Laura Palmer go into a truck with a trucker? You know what I mean?
Oof.
That felt a lot more like I was saying, where you need like logistics of like, how does she get from point A to B?
We don't need to know that.
No.
Because okay, so that does lead me to the last question, which is like, do you think you need to? No. Would you recommend watching? I think it's like a fan edit where it's like The Missing Pieces is slotted back into Firewalk with Me. It's my opinion still, which I did state in the reaction, that like for me personally, no, because one, I already have a really short attention span, especially when something is as draining to watch as Firewalk with Me. I actually don't want all of those other scenes cut in and simply making it longer. I also think to some degree, like I am of two minds of it. Like in some way, I think those other scenes could potentially kind of undercut some of the tension and what's going on.
Mm.
On the flip side of that, though, is maybe they provide some much needed like reprieve at points, right? But I think much to like what you were saying is like, is watching a 3-hour fan edit for me? No. Does it make perfect sense to me though? If you are like a super fan who wants the entire package, yeah, sure. There's nothing wrong with it. I just do not think I could tolerate that length of movie, especially when it's something as weighty as like the content that's explored in Firewalk with Me.
Yeah, it does seem like that they kept all of the most horrible stuff for Firewalk with Me.
Which tells you like that's really what the movie was supposed to be about. I think they chose wisely when they cut what they cut.
I agree. Sticking to the murder, sticking to the Laura Palmer story, I think is like important. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if I would tolerate a really long version of this. I think Firewalk with Me is very long.
How long is it? It's like 2.5 hours?
I think so.
Is it?
Yeah, or close to that.
So they would be like what all told? Like
that's why I think
3.5 hours?
I think that, yeah. Or maybe, I don't know how long the fan edit is, or if things are how many things are repeated or moments are repeated. But I think also it's like, I think The Return works because you get them in hour chunks. I know people say it's a giant movie, but I think that you need that hour. You need like a chapter break, right? To really absorb all of it. Like, I think that's what those Roadhouse scenes were so perfect, to just like, okay, end something. You know, even if you were like watching one episode after the other, at least you got the chance to like, it ends, you get to sit with what you just saw and then move on to the next thing. Like, I don't know if I could do you know, you guys want us to always catch every little thing, you know, and it's,
why are you watching me then?
and you know, I think that's hard to do in like just like so long, you know what I mean? You don't catch everything,
especially with something like this that is like, it is just it's dense and like, I don't know.
Also, don't think you need to catch every detail when you're sitting in a vibe.
Agreed. Okay, well, those are all of my skills.
I don't know. What do you guys think? I know you guys are probably hardcore Twin Peaks fans, so you were just like, no, it needs to be in there, and
I'd be curious to know.
You need to watch the fan edit, and you need to watch all of the stuff to really get it and read all the stuff to really understand. But I don't know. I think Twin Peaks is many artists and many creators, and it's more fluid than I think people want to admit.
I would be curious though, like assuming you, person
You.
out there,
Gentle viewer.
if you are a person who enjoys the fan edit, like tell us why, right? Like it may not be for you and I, but I think we see the
and
merit
admit
in
that
it.
if you like it, that you're probably like a Twin Peaks maniac.
Okay, why are you berating our audience?
This imaginary audience. I don't know these people.
Okay.
Yeah, why would you like this? Why would you
No, he means why? Tell us why.
Why would you want to sit in a 3-hour nightmare or a 4-hour nightmare? I don't know. Just to sit in the world of Twin Peaks. Which is strange because this stuff doesn't even feel like the show Twin Peaks. Like all the fun, charming, warm one you want to sit in.
I
This
think
is like
people like the character.
cold. This
But I
is
think-
cold, silent. Like you go to the double R, no one's there, and people
God.
and like Norma's just crying, and you're just like, God, oh boy.
But I think people just like the characters, and when you are so in love with the world and so in love with characters, you want to eat up whatever you can. Don't you think? Which I would get.
Agreed, but I don't think they're doing much but posing. I don't know if there's much to eat up.
Okay, well, now that we've offended 95% of
You're
you.
tough. You're all so tough. I know it.
Okay, we gotta end this stat. We have to stop this right now. All right. Well, you know our viewpoint. I would actually like to know yours. Put it in the comments below.
Admit that you're a Twin Peaks
Did
fan.
you like the missing pieces? What did you like? What did you not like? Do you like the fan edit? If so, why? Tell us. I'd be interested to know.
I'm curious to know why, like, the missing pieces, I think, was it was re-edited by David Lynch in 2014.
Was it?
I think so. Or, like, he edited together, because I don't think anyone had seen it before that.
Oh.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But,
Boo!
boo hiss. But why would, if it was so, if he wanted it in there, why didn't he put it back in like a director's cut? I'm assuming Firewalk With Me is the director's cut, and he didn't really want it back in. Just saying.
So basically, you, me, and David are the only ones who've got it right.
I understand him completely. And
Oh my
I
god.
know.
Okay.
I'm the one guy.
Okay, well, if there are any of you left, please let us know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to know. Okay, that's all I have to say. That's all you have to say, too.
I have a lot more to
Bye.
say.
Bye!
And another thing.
Bye!